Hi. In episode 1, I made you a promise. I told you I would prove that you don't exist. To understand this, we have to go deep into the source code of the universe. We have to peel back the layers of reality one by one. So consider this step 1 to understand you and why you don't literally exist. First, you have to understand the speed of the system you are living in. Because right now you think you are watching a video, but the ancient technical manual, the Abhidhamma, says that you that started this video has already died and been reborn 1 trillion times since I started this sentence. Today, we are looking at the software of the universe, the mind. We are going to slow down the frame rate of your consciousness. And once you see the reality of your mind, you will never look at your own mind the same way again. First, we have to delete a virus from your understanding. When talking about the mind, modern science points to the brain. It sees neurons, electricity, the hardware, and we assume the mind is a thing living inside you, like a ghost in a shell. The technical manual says wrong. The ancient language Pali word for mind is chitta, and the definition is terrifyingly simple. Here it goes. Mind is not a thing. It is an action, specifically the act of knowing. It works like a reflex, but the anatomy described in the manual is shocking. The ancient commentaries describe the eye sensor called Chakku Pasada as being embedded in 7 membranes. It says consciousness pervades the eye like oil sprinkled on 7 layers of cotton. Fast forward to today, modern ophthalmology confirms the human retina has 7 functional layers. Coincidence? I don't think so. We will decode that biology in a later episode, but for now, here is the mechanism. Every object holds a specific energy signature. When light hits it, the object projects its specific frequency of electromagnetic waves. These waves hit those photosensors in your eye and bam, the event of seeing happens. It's the same with sound. An object vibrates the air at a specific wavelength between 20 and 20,000 Hz. Those sound waves hit your ear's auditory sensors and the event of hearing happens. Likewise, there are specific frequencies associated with body contact, the taste of objects, and the smell of objects. They are just data inputs. We will decode exactly how these frequencies work in the next episodes. There is no you seeing the apple. There is just the event of seeing. There is no you hearing the sound of a bell. There is just the event of hearing. There is no you tasting a coffee. It is only the event of tasting. The text says the mind acts like a principle or a doer, but it leaves no residue. As an example, think of a lightning bolt. It flashes, lights up the sky, and vanishes. Does the lightning live in the cloud? No, it's an event. Your mind is a storm of trillions of lightning bolts flashing one after another. So, how fast is this storm? The manual gives us a specific measurement. It compares the life of a mind to the snap of a finger. It says that in the time it takes to snap, trillions of mind moments arise and die. Every single thought goes through a life cycle. Rising, called Upada, existence, called Tithi, dissolution, called Bhanga. These 3 happens in a chittakshana, a mind moment. It is the tiniest unit of time in this universe. This ancient deep science defined it as 1 trillion of a second. And because the next mind arises immediately after the previous one dies, there is no gap. This is why you feel like your mind as a solid thing. Your mind is a flipbook. The knowing happens so fast, trillions of times a second, that it creates the illusion of motion. Your mind is not a solid being. Your mind is a stream of actions. And this is why you can't see your own mind. Some scholars say the eye cannot see itself. A knife cannot cut itself. To look at your mind, you need another mind to arise. And by then, the first mind is already dead. That is why you can't realize your mind. It is the ultimate stealth technology. But if the mind is just knowing, why do we feel pain? Why do we feel love? Why is your head so chaotic? Because the mind never travels alone. Every time a mind arises, it brings a team. These are called chetasikas, mental factors. There are 52 of them. Think of the mind, the stream of actions, as the water. Think of mental factors as the dye. They mix completely. You can't separate the water from the dye. The ancient masters explained this with the walking algorithm. Imagine you are walking from your house to a shop. Action 1 is walking. This is the mind. But you physically cannot walk without naturally happening 2 other actions. Moving away from the house and getting closer to the shop. In this event of walking home to the shop, can you separate walking from getting closer? No, they happen simultaneously. In the same way, your mind never just knows. It knows plus greed, or knows plus anger, or knows plus love, or the mind always knows plus one of the 52 mental factors. And because the mind changes based on the object, the mind that sees an apple is different from the mind that sees a grape. The mind that looks at the ocean is different from the mind that looks at a mountain. Since the world is variegated, your mind becomes variegated. This is why you feel chaotic. Your mind is a stream of trillions of different actions generated by your 5 senses. It creates the continuous event of knowing. It is colored by different feelings and it changes a trillion times a second. 10 to the power 12. So, we have cracked the software a bit. We know the mind is an action, not a thing. You generate trillions of minds per second. It always has companions called mental factors. But remember the promise I told you I'd prove you don't exist. To do that, we need few more pieces of the puzzle. We've looked at the ghost, now we need to look at the wall. We need to look at matter, then we need to look at 24 conditions of the mind. And then there's a street or pathway of the mind's process. It's called the Chitta Vidhi. You think this table is solid? This deep science Abhidhamma says that even physical matter has a lifespan. It says that matter lives exactly 17 times longer than a mind moment or 17 times of chittakshana. That's right. This ancient text calculated the ratio of energy to matter 2500 years before Einstein. In the next episode, we are going to dive into ancient quantum mechanics. We are going to look at the hardware of the universe. And I'll tell you something sounds impossible those days. That is how the recent Nobel Prize winning discovery of macro level quantum tunneling was actually being used in those days. And once we put the software and hardware together, once we analyze the mechanism of how they interact, then I can finally show you the proof that you are just a glitch in the system. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for episode 3, The Marvels of the Matter.